All right, now we've all done it trying to install RGB lighting and going through the task and the painstaking chore of passing four-strand wire everywhere to the light, back to the controller, and everything in between. Well, guess what? The folks at Stinger Solutions and RaceSport have come up with a revolutionary new system called ColorTrail that's going to make your life a whole lot easier. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Stinger Solutions RaceSport lighting. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and you're tuned in to CMA Networks, where we talk mobile electronics day in and day out. Today, we're talking about lighting systems, and more specifically, a brand new technology that the folks at RaceSport have come up with. This new technology is not only going to cut down time of install in the bay, but also end up with amazing results, not only in customization, but also in a couple other extras that we're going to uncover. Joining me now is Matthew Palumbo, the Director of Training over at Stinger Solutions. Matt, what are we going to be talking about on today's Connected?
Yeah, Ben, we're super excited about this new RaceSport ColorTrail family of products. I mean, this stuff not only cuts down the amount of time in the install bay, but also gives customers just so many more options to light their vehicle inside, outside. The shops that have tried it so far have so many good things to say. I can't wait to dive into more of it with you.
Oh, Matt, and dive in we will. But first, an opportunity for our partner, SiriusXM, to remind you why it's always an amazing add-on sale. And when we come back, let's get into ColorTrail technology with RaceSport. I'll see you after the break.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door. And then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
And welcome back, Matt. Always a pleasure to have you on. This time, we're not talking audio for once. We're actually talking lighting. And I remember seeing this new demo the first time back at CMA Expo. And now we're finally here. We can actually tell the world what it's all about. Now, guys, if you're tuning in, obviously you're interested in lighting. And we all know that lighting is fun, except for when you have to install it. Because whether you're working on a boat or a power sport or even a truck, depending on where you're going or if the customer, I love this one, when they want to add more lighting after you're all done, it could be a pain in the you-know-what. However, this new ColorTrail technology is going to solve a lot of that, Matt. And why don't we identify first what I'm talking about? So maybe you can explain it in terms that our installers and our customers would understand.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. I mean, the ColorTrail family is based all around a single controller. So rather than having one central controller with just a RGB and ground output or RGB and positive output, having to run 4 wires to every light source in the vehicle, with ColorTrail, it just has 2 outputs. It has a left and a right, and each output can support up to 1,000 LEDs. So essentially, you are just daisy chaining everything together. It makes it so much easier.
Okay, let's just break that down real quick. So what you're saying, Matt, is instead of doing a 4-wire from the controller to the light, right, and then doing the same process to the next light, whether it's on the left or right side, doesn't matter, you are now saying that all we'd have to do is do that one connection to the one light and then simply go from that light to the next light. Maybe you have a little demo here to kind of explain how that light works.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cool part about this is, like I said, the controller just has the two outputs. If you're going to do this on a vehicle and it's going to be, say chasing around the vehicle type thing, you would go out to, say, your first rock light in, let's say, the passenger front wheel well. So you've got your rock light, you've got that installed, and what you'll notice is the rock lights have an input and an output. So you've got these nice little barrel connectors on there. Every product comes with plenty of extensions. And then all you're doing is going from this rock light down the side of the vehicle to the next rock light. And from that rock light out of there to, say, a whip on the back of their Jeep or SUV or side by side. And basically, you're just kind of linking things together over and over. The cool part is, let's say you do that exact system. You put in your 4 rock lights, you put in your 2 whips, and your customer comes back and says, yeah, this is cool, but man, I've got this dead blank space down the side of my vehicle. I really wish I had light all the way down the side, kind of under the running boards. Well, wouldn't you know it, we not only offer underbody lighting kits that do 360 lighting underneath the vehicle, we also just offer running board light kits. And you would just simply unplug the little connector, put in a strip of light, male on one end, female on the other, and then plug that in where your extension used to go. You're basically replacing your extension with a strip of light in this example. And what do you know? That all works, it all turns on, and it all lights up. The beautiful thing about ColorTrail is it is completely feasible to think that you could do an entire lighting system on a vehicle and have never crimped or soldered a single wire. Everything just plugs in.
Matt, I'm not going to lie. What you're telling me is absolutely mind-blowing, coming from somebody who just wired an entire boat and had literally finger cramps dealing with these tiny little RGB wires. So you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But okay, so let's just go over the specifics here. Each connector, not only do they screw into one another, they're also gasketed, right? So you don't have to worry about the elements.
Yeah, they are. They all have a little watertight seal on them. They all have a collar that screws down over it, making it watertight. And then as far as extensions go, they come with extensions in the box. If you need more of them or longer ones, we also sell those as accessories.
Amazing. So you could actually keep in stock these little extra accessories and be ready to go with whatever scenario that you have to deal with. Now, the other thing I was going to ask you, but you beat me to it, it doesn't just work within its own range of product. In other words, you mixed in now a rock light kit and added a whip. This family of product, let's talk a little bit about the broad selection here. What are we looking at as far as a catalog?
Yeah, for sure. So the cool thing is you've got not only the traditional stuff, the rock lights, the strip lights that come on a little spool. Yes, we have those too. And yes, you can cut them to length if you're wondering. We even have the accessory pack of extra ends that you can solder on. So that pack would come with say 4 male and 4 female ends that you can solder and heat shrink on there. But it's a full line. So you've got wheel lights, you've got underbody lights that are flexible. You have the rigid underbody lights that come in the metal aluminum channels. You have the rock light kits in 4-pack, 8-pack, as well as a 4-pack extension. So if you want to turn your 4 into an 8 or your 8 into a 12, so on and so forth. You also have your interior ambient lighting kits. These are really, really cool. They kind of make the interior look a lot like a late model luxury vehicle. If you've ever been in a Audi, BMW, Mercedes in the last couple of years, you've probably seen that ambient lighting in there. We have the kits to make your vehicle have that same look and feel. We also have the running board kits, which offer a sequential turn signal. Looks really, really cool. And we also have whips, 2-foot and 4-foot. So as you can see, we've really pretty much got it all. Got all your bases covered. And I'm probably even forgetting something.
All right, so a really broad selection of product. Everything connects one to the other in a daisy chain kind of way. Let's talk a little bit about the control. We all know that pretty much any lighting you want to buy these days comes with that little RF remote, right? You can control it from the remote. Most, better ones actually have an app as well, but I know these are going to be covered. But there's also another way that really ties in everything when it comes to control. I want you to talk to us about that.
Yeah, for sure. So the cool thing with the ColorTrail family is that they're all Horizon compatible. So like you mentioned, Ben, the way I lay it out is this. If you want the most basic control, you're just going to grab the little credit card remote. It's going to give you some choose your color, pick your brightness. You can go through the patterns one by one, that sort of thing. And you can turn the kit on or off. You can even, kind of cycle through some of the patterns. Then if you want more advanced control, you can always pull out your smartphone app. Now the app is important because there are some setup and settings features in there that you may have to get to. So it is great that it's there. We do have our own app, by the way. It's the Stinger Lighting app. So you're not using some third-party app that every other brand uses. It's our own. It's written by us. And so it's a lot easier to understand and we can support it better. But my favorite part is if you're using a Stinger Horizon 10 or Horizon 12 source unit, they have what's called Enlighten control built in. So one of the little icons, little apps that shows up on your screen there says lighting. If you tap on that, it takes you into an interface that actually gives you control over these lighting systems from RaceSport ColorTrail right on your screen. So it is the closest thing to a factory type experience that you could get. And what's great is it's controlling all your ColorTrail products, and you have, you know, custom color selection. You've got a color wheel there. You can choose your own color, make your own color, adjust the brightness, and even very soon adjust a lot of the pattern options right from the screen. So one of the coolest parts about this, last thing I'll mention, is it is a hardwired connection, not wireless. So you are never relying on a wireless connection to your lighting system, waiting for it to connect, possibly dropping connections, etc. It is a hardwired little special 4-pin connector coming out of the Horizon, going straight to the ColorTrail controller, and this way it works first time, every time.
Now, I have to comment here because I have never seen any system that ties in this level of lighting control to a source unit at your fingertips, and it's hardwired. So kudos to you engineers over at Stinger that figured that out. Amazing, amazing. All right, let's get into a little bit about the customization, because obviously we've got a lot of installers that tune in. There is another functionality here by means of additional inputs. Now, how does that work? And give us some ideas creatively of where that can go.
Yeah, for sure, Ben. It's pretty slick. I mean, the little controller has 4 additional wires on it. It has a brake input, a reverse input, and then a turn left and a turn right input. And what these are designed to be is kind of as the names would imply. These are designed to be tied into the lighting in the vehicle. So let's say you've got a big lifted truck and you've just installed wheel kits, the lights behind the rims themselves. Well, imagine if every time you put on your turn signal, those lights flashed amber on the side of the vehicle where you were turning. Be pretty slick, right? If you've done rock lights and whips on your Jeep and you tie in the brake light wire, well, now every time you're driving down the road, maybe you've got a cool dynamic pattern of light flowing down the lights on the vehicle. As soon as you hit the brakes, all the lights will interrupt what they're doing, go to red, and stay there until you let off the brake pedal. And now it'll go back to that dynamic pattern that it was doing. Same thing, of course, with reverse. Put the vehicle in reverse, all the lights go white. Remember, these are RGB+W, so we get a true white. It's not that bluish white that most RGB kits create. But my favorite thing is for the customer that's like, yeah, that all sounds cool, but not really my thing. I don't really want all my lights flashing and changing every time I, make a turn, etc. Okay, no problem. But what you could still offer them is to take that white or reverse input, let's call it, and tie that to, say, the dome light. Well, now every time they open their door, they've got this nice kind of courtesy light of pure white under their vehicle, or a puddle lamp, some folks will call it. What a cool feature that you could offer as an installer or as a shop, and something that you could, offer as an extra feature, charge a little money for, and really separate yourselves from everybody else as far as the products and services you offer. It's a neat feature.
Leave it to the folks at Stinger to always think about that extra layer of customization, right? Because that's really what's going to make the difference from a customer experience standpoint. So I love that as well. And while we're on the topic of customizable, let's get into this whole dynamic lighting deal. Right? Not only is it dynamic, I want you to take your time and explain what that is for folks that don't know, but also get into like the dynamic pattern choices.
Yeah, Ben. So for those that don't know, what a dynamic RGB is basically a light fixture that can do something like this, where you're actually seeing the light flow all the way through the product. Now, this is just one pattern that we're using to demonstrate this, but imagine this could be any combination of light. This could be a rainbow pattern that's slowly trailing through here. This could be any different number of things, right? A traditional RGB light would mean that this whole bar would be able to just do red, green, or blue, or any combination of those colors, which is cool, but it's not dynamic. Dynamic means that we actually can see the pattern flow through. And it's really, really evident on a product like this, on a whip, where you can actually see all of it. But even on something smaller, like a RGB rock light, something like this. On our rock lights, because we have so many LEDs built in there, you can actually see the light flow through this little fixture, and it does make a huge difference in how this all works together and what it looks like at the end. So that's really what a dynamic pattern is. And again, having that RGB+W in there means that we get that true white light, and the fact that we are using all these cob style LEDs where it's actually, a super bright light, but it also are so close together that it appears to be a continuous loop of light or strip of light, unlike the old days of LEDs where you could see all the little hot spots. It makes a huge difference.
All right, Matt. So we've run through, all the different cool characteristics and features of the new COLORTRAIL lighting coming to you from RaceSport and Stinger. We talked about, the simplified wiring. We talked about the controlled methods, especially through the horizon screens. We talked about the additional inputs, which are super cool for customization, the dynamic patterns, and of course, the fact that this is a real suite of different lights. You can really dig in here and do everything you want. What final message do you have for anybody tuning in, interested in trying out this new COLORTRAIL lighting technology?
Yeah, for sure. I would say anybody that wants to check out any of this COLORTRAIL stuff, be sure to, of course, check out the website, but also get your hands on some of these products. Actually try them, compare them to what you're used to, and see if this doesn't make your life easier, and see if you don't feel like this is not a better lighting product, because I promise you, you will see it is brighter, it is better, it is easier to install, and it's just more fun for the customer at the end of the day. It's something that they can interact with, customize their vehicle, and it's not difficult for you to sell or install.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my special guest, Matthew Palumbo, for coming on today and talking to us about this cool new lighting technology from RaceSport called COLORTRAIL. Now, if you want more information, definitely head on over to the website over at stingersolutions.com, where you could find a path to all their lighting products, including all the RaceSport products. Now, my takeaway from this, guys, if you're into lighting and you have customers that really dig it, get yourself some of this COLORTRAIL stuff and try it out for yourself. I love how easy it is to install. I love how you can expand on it and upsell the customer at a later date without the headache of having to rewire everything. And the fact that it's a full suite of product, really, sky's the limit, whether it's rock lights, whips, you name it, interior, exterior, boat, power sports, or vehicle. This entire catalog of products is literally meant for those people who love that look and feel of lighting and have customers that enjoy it, because this for sure, especially with the fact that you can control and have all those really neat dynamic lighting. Man, I'll tell you, where I live, most people haven't even seen this stuff yet. So be that shop, offer that to your customer, and next thing you know, friends will come running for the same treatment. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.